This group of rascals have lewd eyes, they have regarded the girl as a plaything in their hands. Little do they know that the man beside them, with a single eye, is staring at them. By this time, it was already too late for the rascals to run away. The courtyard was soon flooded with blood, and corpses lay everywhere. However, the overlord from another world had already set his sights on the man. He went into action personally and crushed the man's parasite into powder. He even swallowed the girl into his stomach to save her slowly. Can they escape the crisis? The story still has to start from the real world. Guan Ning had a dream. He heard his daughter Orange calling him non-stop. When he turned around, a portrait of a red-haired ghost god suddenly appeared. Guan Ning suddenly woke up, took out his phone, and sent a message to his wife, saying that he had dreamed of Orange again, and also of that city. It turned out that their daughter had been missing for 6 years. The couple and the police had been looking for Orange all this time, but after searching for a long time, they had gotten no news. Later, his wife gradually fell into despair, but Guan Ning never gave up. It was just at this moment, Guan Ning saw a truck approaching from a distance. He picked up a stone and threw it. The stone accurately hit the car window. After forcing the truck to stop, Guan Ning picked up a wooden stick and quickly closed in, and gave the human trafficker a severe beating. When he saw that the other party had lost the ability to move, Guan Ning took out a photo of his daughter, and questioned the human trafficker about where he had abducted Orange. Human traffickers supported each other and fled the scene. After regaining his senses, Guan Ning opened the truck's cargo compartment. Among a group of abducted children, he searched for his daughter's figure, but still found nothing. Soon, the police arrived at the scene, mistook Guan Ning for a human trafficker, and arrested him. In handcuffs, in the police car, Guan Ning dreamed of their once happy life. But in the next second, he unexpectedly saw that city again, and his daughter, entangled in black vines, was calling Guan Ning in despair. Suddenly, Guan Ning woke up and saw the policeman looking at Orange's photo. Guan Ning had an immediate stress response, and the two got into a scuffle in the car. In the chaos, Guan Ning kicked and broke the car key, then spotted a car with its door open in the distance. He seized the opportunity to get out of the police car. Immediately after, he ran wildly towards the car waiting for him. The driver, Amei, drifted the car and took Guan Ning away from the scene. Amei said that Guan Ning was her partner. Seeing that Guan Ning looked confused, Amei revealed all of Guan Ning's information.
I think you're just afraid to fall asleep because of the nightmares about your daughter and that strange city, am I right?
Upon hearing this, Guan Ning felt frightened and demanded to get off the car immediately, but Amei said that the police were looking for him everywhere. Going back now would definitely leave him unable to explain clearly, but she could help Guan Ning find Orange. This was a reason he couldn't refuse. In the end, Guan Ning got back in the car. In the other world, a group of assassins were chasing Kevin. They were agile in their movements and soon cornered Kevin. At the critical moment, Kevin's elder sister stepped in front of her younger brother. She told Kevin to run west, and with that, she pushed her brother off the cliff. She herself engaged in battle with the assassins. However, his elder sister was Kevin's only remaining relative in the world. Unwilling to escape alone, he struggled to climb back up the cliff, only to witness the scene of his sister being executed by the assassin leader. Kevin was overwhelmed with grief. The leader, who had been seriously injured by the sister, said he was acting under the orders of the red-haired ghost to take the heads of the two siblings. He then told Kevin to cut off his sister's head. If he did so, he would leave Kevin with a whole body. Kevin wouldn't tolerate the leader's nonsense. He stuck his sister's knife into the leader's chest. After burying his sister, Kevin originally intended to obey and run west. Unexpectedly, a voice suddenly rang out, saying that no matter how Kevin ran away, being targeted by the red-haired ghost would eventually lead to his death. Upon hearing this, Kevin decided to give up running away. He picked up his sister's knife, looked towards the imperial city where the red-haired ghost resided, and vowed in his heart to seek justice for his sister. Suddenly, the black armor on the assassin leader's body sneaked into the ground, and then attached itself to Kevin. Kevin struggled desperately, but to no avail. It turned out that the one who had spoken just now was the black armor. It dismissed Kevin's idea of seeking revenge with disdain, but it still showed Kevin the way. Soon, Kevin arrived at the imperial city. The streets were crowded with people, and cheers resounded through the sky, as if a grand celebration was being held. Driven by curiosity, Kevin followed the crowd into the huge celebration square. In the next second, everyone knelt down at the sound of drums, and kowtowed to the huge statue of the red-haired ghost in front of them. But as the salute exploded, everyone took off their outer clothes, revealing the armor underneath. Only then did Kevin learn from the black armor armor, ever since the red-haired ghost took control of the Imperial City. He had incited the 18 Fong districts of the city to fight against each other. Now, only 2 Fong districts remained, Baihan Fong and Zhulong Fong, and Kevin was in Zhulong Fong. A great battle was imminent. Caught up in the crowd, Kevin was also swept to the battlefield. The stirring sound of drums rang out, and people rushed toward Baihan Fong, only to be stopped by a rain of arrows shot by the guards. Zhulong Fong released 3 fire dragons. The people on the fire dragons threw oil, bottles and then shot a rain of fire. The city was immediately reduced to a sea of flames. The crowd charged straight ahead and breached the city walls. The fire burned all night, and the screams continued until dawn. That night, Kevin witnessed what hell on earth was like. Under the red-haired ghost's bewitchment, humans were no longer humans, but beasts controlled by desire. It was at this moment that Kevin felt a sense of helplessness toward revenge for the first time. Just then, a group of warriors in red armor charged out on horseback. Everyone quickly knelt down. The warriors walked to the center of the city and blew their horns, reminding everyone that the curfew would start soon. Only then did Kevin clearly see the flags in the warriors' hands. The symbol on them was the same as that of the red-haired ghost. As Kevin hurried to hide, he noticed a little girl dragging a corpse. When she saw Kevin, she drew her knife and told him to get lost, but Kevin paid no attention. Instead, he helped the little girl drag the corpse to the mass grave. Only then did he learn that the little girl's name was Orange, and the deceased was her elder brother. After the two buried the deceased, Orange stood in front of the grave and played the flute. The melodious and pure sound of the flute echoed in the mass grave, making Kevin feel that it was unreal. The red-armored warriors not far away also heard the flute. They dragged their giant axes and charged toward Orange. Kevin and Orange were very confused. It wasn't dark yet, so why were the red-armored warriors chasing them? Kevin had no time to think carefully. He grabbed Orange and ran, but soon they were blocked at a dead end. He had to carry Orange on his back, climb onto the roof, and continue fleeing. But he didn't expect that the red-armored warriors could jump 5 meters high in one leap. They had to change their strategy. Orange was in charge of guiding Kevin on the ground, while Kevin carried a fake package on his back to attract the red-armored warriors' attention. But in the end, the red-armored warriors still cornered Kevin in an alley. He snatched the fake package from Kevin's back and reached out to catch it. When he found out the package was fake, he froze in place. Kevin took the opportunity to slash at the opponent's mask with his knife, but it had little effect. It was at this moment that Kevin discovered that there was a human face under the red-armored warrior's mask. The next second, the warrior picked up his giant axe and tried to finish him off. At this critical moment, Orange suddenly spoke up and told the warrior to stop. Unexpectedly, the warrior actually stopped his movements and turned to walk toward Orange. Just then, the sun set completely. The red-armored warrior gradually lost the ability to move. Finally, he knelt on the ground and couldn't move at all. Kevin quickly took Orange and left the place. Back in the real world, Amei took Guan Ning to the company. She was a senior executive of the company, and Aaron was the company's chairman. Amei started playing the slideshow and told Guan Ning her subordinates had narrowed down the search scope to the smallest. One of these 5 girls must be Orange. Guan Ning hurried forward to identify them. After a moment, he said with guilt that he couldn't recognize her. Amei said it was okay. Guan Ning could take a DNA test with these 5 children, and the results would come out soon. However, since it was a cooperation, Guan Ning also needed to do one thing for her. With that, Amei played a video. A novelist was reading his own novel aloud, and the content of the novel was exactly the story of another world. The Imperial City in the story was the city that Guan Ning often dreamed of. At this moment, the novelist talked about how the red-haired ghost, who was far away on the top of the mountain, suddenly felt a headache. The next second, Aaron, who was holding a press conference, also held his head, and immediately fell down. Amei hurriedly sent Aaron to the medical room. After Aaron woke up, he asked Amei what the novelist had written again. Amei told him the truth. After hearing this, Aaron flew into a rage instantly. He told Amei to carry out the plan immediately. Amei put on her Bluetooth headset and talked to Guan Ning on Aaron's behalf. Amei showed Guan Ning a video. The people in the video all had special abilities, and Guan Ning's positioning stones were also a special ability. She told Guan Ning to use this ability to kill someone, and she would help him find Orange after the task was done. Guan Ning hesitated for a moment and then agreed to Amei's terms. Amei said that the person Guan Ning was supposed to kill was named Kevin, who was exactly the novelist they had just seen. The title of his novel was Killing the God. Every time the red-haired ghost in the book got sick, Aaron would suffer the same harm. Aaron had used all legal means to make Kevin give up writing, but this guy just wouldn't listen, so Aaron could only find someone to kill him, and it had to be quick, because Kevin had announced that he would release the final chapter within 3 days. After hearing this, Guan Ning set off immediately. Before leaving, Amei told him to record all his dreams every day. That afternoon, Guan Ning arrived in Liangjiang City where Kevin was. After finding him, Guan Ning immediately started following him, and found that he had nothing serious to do all day long. He either fought with kids for a ball to play or dropped by neighbors' houses to mooch a meal. However, in the evening, Kevin walked into the library. Guan Ning hurriedly followed him in and found that Kevin was the only one there. He hurriedly pretended to be coming to read books.
What are you looking at?
I want to know why you're following me.
Why I'm what?
Guan Ning had to lie and say he was Kevin's fan. Kevin was stunned for a moment, his face full of disbelief, but in the end, he believed Guan Ning's story, and even started discussing the plot of the novel with him. Just then, Ame called Guan Ning and told him to hurry up and get to work, and stop talking to Kevin. Guan Ning finally realized that Ame had been monitoring him all along. Just as Guan Ning was complaining, he heard the sound of the door and found that Kevin had left the library. He hurriedly followed. Ame called again and urged Guan Ning to hurry up and complete the task. Guan Ning, in a fit of anger, roared out loud. This action was noticed by Kevin. He thought Guan Ning was an obsessive fan, so he started chatting with him again.
You mentioned, Bei Hong Feng in your story.
It's Bei Hong Feng.
Who is that?
The car owner got out of the car immediately to apologize and said he had already called the police. The police would arrive soon. Upon hearing this, Guan Ning panicked instantly. He also saw the magic lamp symbol on the car body, and realized this was a blatant threat. He fled the scene at top speed. In his panic, the notebook he dropped at the scene was found by Kevin. The next day, Guan Ning woke up in the hotel and was surprised to find Ame was also in the room. He scolded Ame. Unexpectedly, Ame took action directly and easily took Guan Ning down. She even pressed him into the bathtub and didn't let him up until he was almost suffocated. At this moment, the hotel front desk called, saying there was someone surnamed Ma looking for him downstairs. Guan Ning tidied up briefly and went downstairs to meet Kevin. Kevin had come to return the notebook. Guan Ning thought this was a good opportunity, so he asked Kevin to take him to a place with fewer people. He tried to take action several times, but missed the best opportunity each time. Later, Kevin and Guan Ning talked about the past. 6 years ago, he lived a normal life. Once, when he went back to the library, he was deeply moved to tears by a novel. Since then, Kevin fell in love with novels and started writing himself. And he had been writing for 6 years straight. When he finally came to his senses, his girlfriend had left him, his graduation certificate was also withheld, he couldn't find a job either, so he had to keep writing novels. Guan Ning was somewhat touched, but he still advised Kevin to stop writing. However, Kevin remained firm, believing that writing novels had become a part of his life. As long as he kept writing, his life would have meaning. Later, Kevin took Guan Ning to a stretch of abandoned old buildings. The chirping of insects filled the air, and greenery was everywhere. Kevin was suddenly inspired with a flood of ideas. He took the notebook from Guan Ning's arms and started writing furiously. The scene then shifts to the other world. After escaping from the warrior's pursuit, Kevin and Orange walked aimlessly on the street. Orange began to talk about the history. A long time ago, the emperor had two favorite generals. One was named Chia Fei, and the other was Zhou Tian. They were sworn brothers. Later, the emperor stopped attending court for a long time, so Chia Fei began to take over the state affairs. Some people said the emperor was dead. Chia Fei then arrested and killed those who spread the rumor. When Zhou Tian heard the news, he led his men to meet Chia Fei. Chia Fei advised Zhou Tian to lay down his arms and return to his hometown. Zhou Tian naturally refused. The two then fought. In the end, Zhou Tian died. Chia Fei stripped Zhou Tian of his general title, designated him a traitor, and executed all his family members of 9 generations. After finishing the history, Orange and Kevin happened to walk to a long-abandoned civilian house, and this was exactly her former home. 3 years ago, Orange's parents went out to look for food, but they never came back after that. Kevin quickly spoke to comfort her and said he would take care of her and live with her from now on. Just at this moment, a commotion suddenly broke out. A group of people from Zhulongfang rushed in and started rummaging for valuables, but after searching thoroughly, they found nothing valuable. The leader ordered his men to kill Kevin and Little Orange.
I won't let you tie my head to a tree!
The people from Zhulongfang burst into laughter. Kevin shielded Orange behind him. He knew these people were already crazy and capable of doing anything. Suddenly, a heavy rain began to pour down from the sky. The Black Armor spoke up to taunt Kevin, telling him not to die too soon. As soon as the enemies charged over, the Black Armor suddenly broke away from Kevin's body and formed into a one-eyed figure. With one slash, it cut the enemy leader in half. Next came its one-sided massacre.
Come, let me crush you.
Every time it swung its blade, it dyed the nearby rainwater red. In the midst of its agile movements, in the courtyard, not only did the clinking of metal from swords and blades ring out, but also the short screams of the enemies could be heard. However, a few scattered enemies still slipped through. Kevin shouted loudly for Orange to run quickly, then he struggled to resist the enemies' attacks. When the Black Armor saw this scene, it panicked instantly. It couldn't let its host die easily, so it hurriedly turned around to help, and easily took care of the enemies. The ground in the courtyard was covered in bright red, with corpses lying scattered everywhere, and among the enemies, there was still one child left. the black armor intended to eliminate the potential threat once and for all. Kevin immediately spoke up to stop it. Unexpectedly, the black armor actually stopped. The child took the opportunity to flee. The black armor stared coldly at Kevin, then immediately, it leapt into the air, drew its blade, and intended to kill him. Kevin was astonished to find that he could control the black armor's movements. It turned out that the black armor was too greedy, which led to a symbiotic relationship between it and Kevin. Kevin controlled the black armor to return to his body. The crisis was temporarily resolved. Orange curiously asked Kevin who he really was. When she learned that he had come to kill the red-haired ghost, Orange said she would show him the way. The scene shifts to the real world. Kevin, inspired by a flood of ideas, showed no sign of stopping his writing. Suddenly, a stone flew over and interrupted his train of thought, then a second, a third, until Kevin fell to the ground. Only then did Guan Ning, who had been hiding in the shadows throwing stones, dare to come out. But what he didn't expect was that Kevin wasn't killed by the stones. Guan Ning hardened his heart, picked up a stone nearby, and prepared to deliver the finishing blow. Just at this moment, the sound of a children's song came from nearby, and this children's song was specially written by Guan Ning for his daughter. No one else knew it except him, his wife, and his daughter. Guan Ning no longer cared about killing Kevin. He ran madly toward the source of the sound. The person humming the song was a little beggar. Guan Ning questioned the beggar about who had taught him the song. When he saw the little beggar didn't respond, Guan Ning grabbed the beggar by the collar and pressed him loudly for an answer. The little beggar was terrified. He kicked Guan Ning away, got up, and ran as fast as he could. Guan Ning chased closely behind him, but as he chased, a scene suddenly appeared in his mind. The red-armored warriors chasing Kevin and Orange. In the moment he was distracted, the beggar had run out of sight. Coincidentally, however, Guan Ning saw the human trafficker who had abducted his daughter. He didn't care how many people the trafficker had with him. He picked up billiard balls and wine bottles nearby and charged at them. His onslaught left the human traffickers stunned. Unexpectedly, the trafficker who had abducted Orange launched a surprise attack, but Guan Ning, whose mind was filled with thoughts of his daughter, seemed to have boundless strength. He used a billiard ball to break the trafficker's leg and forced him to reveal where Orange was, but he received a desperate answer. It was the trafficker's first time committing the crime, so he hadn't controlled the dose of the knockout drug properly. After knocking Orange unconscious, he stuffed her into a sack and threw her into the trunk. Unexpectedly, halfway through the journey, Orange had stopped moving. Recalling the happy times with his daughter, Guan Ning was overwhelmed with grief, and grabbed the human trafficker by the neck. Just as the trafficker was about to stop breathing, Amei arrived just in time to stop Guan Ning, preventing him from committing an irreversible mistake. After that, Amei knocked Guan Ning unconscious. When Guan Ning woke up again, he found himself in Amei's car. He questioned Amei, "Is Orange really among those 5 children?" Amei froze for a moment and said the trafficker might have remembered wrong. But Guan Ning still didn't believe it. Amei had to ask him to withdraw from the operation. But when he learned that Amei was going to hand the trafficker over to the police, Guan Ning panicked instantly and promised that he would definitely complete the task. He only asked that Amei must leave the trafficker to him. With that, he limped away. Soon after, Aaron arrived. Amei asked in a trembling voice, "Are those 5 children really fakes?" Aaron answered without hesitation, "Of course." Then he mocked, "Guan Ning and your parents are the same kind of people, trash who abandon their children."
You were discarded as well. And you feel sorry for him?
With that, Aaron got in the car and drove off in a hurry. The next day, a light drizzle began to fall from the sky. Guan Ning called Kevin. The two met on the rooftop. But Kevin had abandoned his usual optimism. He said sadly that he might really need to give up writing novels. "Yesterday, some crazy person threw stones at me, and I don't even know who it was. Maybe they were dissatisfied with my novel." At this moment, Kevin still didn't know that the fan behind him was the one who had attacked him. As they talked, Kevin walked to the edge of the rooftop and lit a cigarette. Guan Ning approached slowly. He stretched out his hand tremblingly, wanting to push Kevin off to complete the task.
Unfortunately, I still haven't finished writing your character.
Upon hearing this, Guan Ning froze in place instantly. Kevin explained that he had created the novel characters based on the records in Guan Ning's notebook. Yesterday, he suddenly got inspired and, in a hurry, wrote them down in the notebook. With that, Kevin handed over the notebook for Guan Ning to see for himself. Guan Ning hurriedly opened the notebook, and the more he read, the more shocked he became. At the same time, familiar scenes kept emerging in his mind. The scenes described in the manuscript seemed like he had experienced them personally. Just at this moment, Kevin pointed at the wound on Guan Ning's head and said, "That red-armored warrior has the same wound as yours. Even the location of the wound is exactly the same."
Yeah, I don't know, but the warrior, he was enchanted by Tangerine's flute playing. It called to him.
Guan Ning was shocked again. He had never told Kevin his daughter's name. At this moment, connecting the recent extraordinary experiences, he suddenly realized, all characters in Killing the God have corresponding counterparts in reality. The red-armored warrior corresponds to Guan Ning, the protagonist Kevin corresponds to the novelist, the red-haired ghost corresponds to Aaron, and Orange should correspond to his own lost daughter. Guan Ning regained hope once more. He discussed the plot with Kevin. Unexpectedly, Kevin got excited and lost his footing, falling down. Fortunately, Guan Ning reacted quickly and grabbed him, using all his strength to pull him up. Guan Ning immediately called a Mei and said he would never kill Kevin. After Kevin finishes writing the novel, he will turn himself in. Even if Orange can't return to reality, Guan Ning will still do everything to protect his daughter. Later, Guan Ning followed Kevin back to his residence, and figured out why the red-haired ghost corresponds to Aaron. Aaron and Kevin's father were once partners, but Aaron killed Kevin's father for his own selfish interests. These words were heard by Mei, who was planning to break in. She immediately called Aaron. After learning the truth, she resolutely withdrew from the plan. She threw away her phone and wiretapping device, preparing to leave, but before she could get in the car, she was stunned with a taser by Aaron's men and taken away. At this time, Guan Ning also realized that Kevin's home was no longer safe. Aaron would send assassins to kill Kevin. To ensure the novel is successfully completed, he immediately took Kevin to move to the library warehouse. As Kevin typed frantically, the scene shifts to the other world again. Under Orange's guidance, Kevin successfully arrived at Palace Mountain. Kevin said it was too dangerous here and told Orange to go back first, but the girl said, according to rumors, many missing people have become followers of the red-haired ghost. Maybe my parents are here too. When the two entered the palace, they saw a group of red-armored warriors sitting neatly on the ground. They breathed heavily, as if they were all asleep. Kevin tested them, and seeing that the red-armored warriors had no reaction, he suddenly understood why the red-haired ghost imposed a curfew. It was afraid that the people in the city would find out. The red-armored warriors become motionless at night. The two continued walking inside, passing through a canyon. The black armor couldn't help mocking Kevin. If you go further, you'll really be killed by the red-haired ghost. But Kevin said that he must avenge his sister. The black armor fell silent for a moment, then said, "It was me who killed your sister."
All along, I've treated you as a friend.
After that, the two of them in the black armor entered a palace. Suddenly, the sound of drums echoed around them. The dull thuds made people's hearts tighten with tension. Kevin shouted, telling the red-haired ghost to come out, but after shouting for a long time, there was still no response. However, the next second, Orange suddenly grabbed Kevin's arm. The red-haired ghost statue in front of them slowly stood up. Only then did the two realize that the drum beats they had just heard were the red-haired ghost's heartbeat. The red-haired ghost looked Kevin up and down carefully, then it leaned in to sniff him, and slowly spoke the truth. It turned out that Kevin's father was none other than Zhou Tian, the red-haired ghost's sworn brother. Kevin's eyes widened in an instant, filled with rage. He was about to attack immediately, but the red-haired ghost told him to calm down. He said he would take Kevin to see Zhou Tian. With that, it moved its enormous body and walked toward the backyard. Just then, Orange reminded them that there was a knife stuck between the red-haired ghost's eyebrows. It seemed that he wasn't unbeatable. The red-haired ghost said seriously, "This tree in front of you is where Zhou Tian is buried." Then it reminisced about the past. But the next second, it suddenly put on a ghastly expression. Only then did Kevin realize that this being was moody and absolutely untrustworthy. The battle was imminent. The red-haired ghost jumped up and threw a punch, which Kevin and the black armor dodged. They knew that to defeat the red-haired ghost, they must first restrict its movements. But they didn't expect that despite the red-haired ghost's huge size, its movements were surprisingly agile. It easily avoided their leg-cutting attack. Immediately after, the red-haired ghost, relying on its absolute advantages in speed and strength, chased Kevin around, forcing him to flee everywhere. At the critical moment, the black armor suddenly threw a knife, hoping to behead the red-haired ghost when it was off guard. But the red-haired ghost reacted extremely quickly, and even turned the tables, cornering the black armor. Kevin quickly pulled out the knife the black armor had thrown, trying to deliver a fatal blow. However, the battle-hardened red-haired ghost easily defused the crisis, and even clutched Kevin in its hand. The black armor hurried forward to rescue Kevin, but this enraged the demon god. The red-haired ghost used 3 of its hands to crush the black armor into powder. Without the black armor's help, Kevin could only let the red-haired ghost torture him. Just then, the sound of a flute suddenly came from behind the red-haired ghost. It was Orange, who had been hiding aside watching the battle, playing the flute. For some reason, the red-haired ghost was extremely repulsed by this flute sound. The red-haired ghost swallowed Orange into its stomach, and the flute sound suddenly disappeared. But in the real world, Guan Ning also encountered equally tricky trouble. Aaron had sent killers with special abilities. One had extremely strong damage resistance, and the other could even release electric current. Guan Ning knew that as a ranged fighter, he must not let the enemies get close. He could only keep a distance and maneuver to take down the 2 enemies one by one. So he found a way to lure away the electric current wielding guy. First, he took the initiative to show weakness to make the opponent lower their guard. then used rubber gloves to easily take him down. Later, Guan Ning used the tied-up electric current-wielding guy to attract the other killer's attention, and took the opportunity to hit him on the forehead with a ball. Unexpectedly, this guy had injected an enhancement injection, and his strength soared instantly. Guan Ning was immediately at a disadvantage. At the same time, the tied-up May woke up in the car. She used a knife hidden on her body to untie the restraints, and rushed to the battlefield just in time. She teamed up with Guan Ning to take down the tough enhanced killer. After that, the two hurried upstairs, but they were still one step too late. Kevin was already lying in a pool of blood. Fortunately, he still had signs of life. Sending him to the hospital might save his life, but continuing to write the novel was no longer possible. It just so happened that Aaron also appeared in the hospital at this moment. He told Guan Ning and May to call it quits. Aaron would give each of them 5 million yuan. The sum of money would be enough to last them for a while. It was at this moment that Guan Ning suddenly thought of a way to remedy the situation. Novels are written by people. Even if Kevin can't finish it, he could continue writing it. The wealthy Aaron suddenly felt something was wrong, and rushed forward to snatch the laptop, but was slapped away by May with one hand.
I believe that I can write this.
The red-haired ghost looked at the constantly struggling Kevin, and decided to give him a quick end. But just at this moment, the sound of the flute came from inside the red-haired ghost's body. The next second, a cloud of red mist suddenly appeared. The person who appeared was exactly the red-armored warrior, the character corresponding to Guan Ning in the novel. The red-haired ghost charged forward, but his mask was shattered by a cannonball. The red-haired ghost dodged the cannonballs in embarrassment. At the same time, he used the stones on the road to launch a counterattack, but it was useless. But just as the red-armored warrior was reloading the Gatling gun, the red-haired ghost suddenly charged out from behind a tree. The red-armored warrior jumped high into the air, and chopped off several of the red-haired ghost's fingers with one slash, but soon he was met with the red-haired ghost's crazy counterattack. The red-armored warrior reminded Kevin to use the knife on the red-haired ghost's head. However, before he could finish speaking, he was thrown into the air by the red-haired ghost. Immediately after that, he was pummeled by a flurry of punches. Kevin picked up the black armor knife that had fallen aside. The next second, the remaining black armor reattached itself to him, carrying Kevin as it climbed quickly up the tree nearby. At the same time, the red-armored warrior heard his daughter's cry, strived to hold on, and pushed away the red-haired ghost's attack. It was at this moment that he saw Kevin on the tree gesturing, so he deliberately lured the red-haired ghost under the tree. When the time was right, Kevin jumped down from the tree, and accurately grabbed the knife between the red-haired ghost's eyebrows. He also saw Zhou Tian's name engraved on the knife. Kevin turned his grief into strength, and used all his strength to try to pull out the knife. The red-haired ghost trembled all over in pain and shook his head wildly, trying to throw Kevin off. The red-armored warrior on the side regained his strength. He threw his giant axe and cut off the red-haired ghost's tendons.
Return my father's blade!
Even so, Kevin still refused to let go. Just then, the red-armored warrior heard his daughter's call once again. He leaped forward and grabbed the hilt of the knife together with Kevin. The two of them pulled down with all their strength, disemboweling the red-haired ghost. This evil demon god finally met his end. Countless glowing particles drifted out of its body. The red-armored warrior hurried forward and caught his daughter. He sang the children's song that Orange knew well. Orange froze for a moment, then immediately, she took off the red-armored warrior's mask. The person inside the armor was indeed the father she had been longing for day and night. The father and daughter hugged tightly. Presumably they had endless things to talk about. Not far away, Kevin watched this warm scene and felt deeply relieved. Just then, an abnormal sound suddenly came from the broken black armor.
What time is it?
The scene shifts back to the real world. May sees the perfect ending of the novel and can't help but smile. Just then, a doctor walks into the ward and tells them the news that Kevin is out of danger. Suddenly, Guan Ning sees something he doesn't dare to delay for a moment, drags his injured leg, and rushes downstairs, and sings a children's song to the girl next to the little beggar. After a moment, the girl turns around, revealing the side face of Orange. The film ends here. Assassin in Red has achieved a dual breakthrough in Chinese fantasy films. It is not only a milestone at the technical level, but also an in-depth exploration of narrative philosophy. In the dual world constructed by more than 2,000 special effects shots throughout the film, the red-haired ghost created by the local team, with the details of 400,000 strands of hair and 948,000 pores, announces that China's film industry has finally made up for its shortcomings in special effects, but visual spectacle is only a carrier. Emotional portrayal is the core strength of the director. Guan Ning's obsession with his 6-year-long search for his daughter, from the loss of control when he threw stones to stop the truck, to the hesitation to assassinate the novelist. For an illusory promise is essentially a distorted reflection of fatherly love and despair. His transformation from becoming a demon for his daughter to giving up the mission to protect Kevin is the transformation of fatherly love from obsession to awakening. And at the moment when Guan Ning sings the children's song in reality, and the red-armored warrior in the other world catches his daughter, the boundary between reality and illusion is broken through by emotion, when fatherly love can transcend life and death as well as dimensions. All unrelenting searches will lead to a reunion with the person one misses in some dimension. Today's commentary ends here. Friends who like this, please subscribe to our channel. See you next time.